Okay, so today's practice problem number 1 says that Marty has 2 Snickers bars and 5 Twix bars. If his number of candy bars triples when he goes trick-or-treating, will he have an even or odd number of candy bars? How do you know without solving? Then you may double check your work. So of course the first thing I did was I wrote down what I know. I know that M has 2 Snickers and 5 Twix. Without solving 5 plus 2, I know that 5 and 2 will get me to 7. I don't have to solve. And I know that 7 is an odd number because you cannot split it into 2 equal groups. When you try to put 7 into 2 equal groups, you get 3 and 3 with a leftover of 1. All right? So, the next thing I know is that his number of candy bar is going to triple when he goes trick-or-treating. Triple means you do the same number 1, 2, 3 times. 3 is your triple. So 7 and 7 and 7. Now, without solving, I know that when you add an odd number 3 times, you will always get to an odd number. I didn't have to solve to figure that out. The reason for that is an odd and an odd always gets us to an even. That's because the leftover from this odd and the leftover from this odd combine to get us an even number. 7 and 7 is 14. Now we know that an even number plus an odd number will always get us to an odd number because the leftover here has nowhere to go. It doesn't have somebody else to partner up with. If we had another 7, we could partner it up, but we don't. So when you try to split this 7 into 2 equal groups, you will get 3 and 3 with a leftover of 1. That leftover will be all by itself, and that's why it's an odd number. So we know it is odd because the leftover or addend will not have another leftover to combine with. Let me show you an example of that. 7 plus 7 gets us to 14. So we know that the odd and the odd got us to an even number. That's because when we try to split an odd number into 2 equal groups, there's a leftover of 1. You get 3 and 3 with a leftover of 1 to get you 7. Same thing here, 3 and 3 with a leftover of 1 to get you 7. These 2 leftovers combined to get us an equal number of 2. They can be paired up. So because of that, we know that when we add 2 odd numbers, we will always get an even number. When we add that even number to an odd number, we'll get an odd number because the leftover from trying to split 7 into 2 equal groups, which is 3, 3, and a leftover of 1, it will never have someone to partner up with. So that will always be odd. Moving on to practice problem number 2. Nicholas earned $10 last week. Hank earned double the amount that Nicholas earned. Melanie earned triple the amount that Hank earned. How much money did Melanie earn, and is it odd or even? So again, this is a multi-step problem. You need to figure out a lot of things before you can get to your final answer. So we know that Nicholas, he earned 10. We know that Hank earned double 10. So if you're doubling a number, you do it 2 times. 10 plus 10. And we know that Melanie earned triple the amount that Hank earned. It does not say that Melanie earned triple what Nicholas earned. It says she earned triple what Hank earned. So first we have to figure out what Hank earned in order to figure out what Melanie earned. So we know Nicholas is at 10. Hank is at 20, because when you double 10, you get 20. So that means that Melanie got 20 plus 20 plus 20. This goes back to our problem 1. When you triple something, you add it not once, not twice, but 3 times. And you guys are very good at counting by 20s, so you know that 20 plus 20 plus 20 gets you to 60. Melanie earned $60. It's even because when you add an even number 3 times, there will never be any leftovers. There's not a leftover in the first even, there's not a leftover in the second, and there's not a leftover in the third. So that means that the number will be even, $60.